Hi y'all, welcome back. Today I am going to be canning some ground beef, and this is browned ground beef, and I've got it in the roaster just heating up, about to put it in some jars. So come along. This is the Presto canner, and it's got the canning rack on the bottom, and it's got 3 quarts of water in it, which is what it calls for. And the water, it's on low right now, so the water is nice and hot because I'm going to be putting hot food in there. And then where I'm boiling water to use for my broth or the liquid that's going to go into the jars. And I put it in the roaster just because it's so much to get it nice and warm to fill my jars. And then I've got the broth. It's not broth, it's just water. I'm not using any broth today. It's on the stove. It's nice and hot. I'll bring it here when I get ready to fill these jars. And so what I'm doing is I'm putting the ground beef in here to 1-inch headspace. I also have the vinegar here because we're going to wipe the rims with the vinegar. Alright, so I got my water. And my ground beef is to 1 inch. So I'm going to go ahead and get a cup of water. Go up to 1 inch. And I can hear all the air in there. I'm going to go ahead and debubble. Let's see where we're at. And when we debubble, what we're trying to do is just get all the air out. Any trapped air in there so it doesn't interfere. And I think on the next jars, I'm going to go ahead a little bit lower. I mean, I'm at 1 inch, but that's perfect. All right, so I've already debubbled. And now, because, you know, I'm taking this out, so it's getting on the rim. So I'm going to have grease on there. Let me move this over here so that I don't burn myself. So that's my vinegar. I'm going to make sure I wipe the rim really good so that there's no grease, because if I leave any grease on there, it will interfere with my seal. And when you're canning your food and you want to preserve it, you don't want to have anything interfere with your seal. So we've got that there. Put a flat, grab 2 rings, finger tight, put these into, taking these and I'm putting them into the canner on the stove, which has the hot water in it. And they'll just be waiting for all these other jars to go in there. And I will come back. Okay, so I have 8 wide mouth pint jars in the canner. You can see the canning rack down there. I would grab a jar, but that's hot. And then I'm going to go ahead and put another canning rack as the divider. And then we will continue to fill. Okay, so we've got the other 8 on top. So the canner has 16 pints of ground beef in wide mouth jars. We're going to go ahead and put the lid on there and get it started. And I'm going to go ahead and line that up with an arrow that's on the handle. And it just, once you get it lined up, it just sits there. And then all I'm going to do is take the handle and give it that turn. And now the handles are together and it's set. So there's my gauge, my pressure valve. I'm going to go ahead and turn my stove up. And this will get as hot as it needs to be. And it will start venting from the vent pipe. It'll start venting from there. Once it starts venting from there, not a little vent, but a full out vent, I will go ahead and set a timer for 10 minutes and I will let it vent at full force for 10 minutes. And then after that 10 minutes, I will come and I will put the weight on. I will put a weight on. And then I will lower my heat on the stove so that I can maintain it at the heat that I need it to be, so that it's at the pressure that I need it to be. In this case, it's 15 pounds of pressure. So we'll see you back later. Okay, so this has been venting. You can't see it, but there's steam coming out of there. whole bunch of steam. It's been venting for 10 minutes. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the weight on it. And I'm going to keep a close eye on it because it's not even at 5 pounds of pressure yet. But since I just put the weight on it, it's going to go ahead and build up relatively quickly. And so I'm going to go ahead and just keep an eye on it. As soon as it gets to 15, which is where I need it, well, this will start jiggling as well. I'm going to go ahead and lower my temperature. The timer went off. I am turning this off now, and I am going to wait till this gauge comes all the way down to the 0 mark. Alright y'all, this stopped a while ago. You can see it's been long enough that it is down to 0, and I still jiggle this just to make sure there's no coming out, which means there's still pressure, even though that's at 0, just because I just do it for safety. It's good now, so I'm going to go ahead and remove it. And then I'm just going to leave it like this for a couple of minutes, and then I will remove the lid. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and undo this. So the lock is undone. Now when you take this lid off, you want to take it off away from you. So I'm going to go like this. So all that steam, you see all that steam coming out? Will go that way.